Link has performed ridiculous to literally impossible feats throughout all of his incarnations. Video game characters are made to be larger than life, and despite being human-ish, they can do completely outrageous things that would easily kill anyone. So just how powerful is Link without any equipment compared to the average human? We begin with the hero of time, who we see in Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, who travels through time growing older and stronger. As his younger self, young Link has been able to pick up Princess Ruto, who being around Link's height weighs about 65 pounds, and easily carries her over his head without slowing down at all, and can push around a large crate roughly twice his size that is supposedly full of jars of milk. Young Link is about 3 feet 10 inches tall, making this square box 7 feet 8 inches tall and wide. Comparing this to the average weight and maximum holding capacity for a crate that is 3 by 3 by 3 feet, we find that our 7 feet 8 inch crate weighs about 2,030 pounds, giving this crate a maximum holding capacity of 64,447 pounds, while other younger versions of Link, like the Hero of the Winds, has been able to push large boulders around that are commonly made out of a rock like granite and sandstone, and looking at their size would weigh upwards to 800 pounds, as well as lift and hurl a vase nearly as tall as he is, which is a whopping 3 feet 3 inches, that is full of water, making this round vase, if it's made from clay like older pottery, weigh close to 20 pounds and hold nearly 25 gallons or 208 pounds of water. But way more than that, this little guy has even lifted a small stone statue equal to his height that is about twice as wide as it is tall, and then jumped a nearly 8-foot gap no problem, with the stone statue most likely being made out of a stone like granite, which has an average density of 2.8 grams per cubic centimeter, and thus weighs 175 pounds per cubic foot, would make the stone statue weigh around 1,572 pounds. And a weighted jump of this distance is no surprise, seeing how he can jump almost triple Ganondorf's height of 7 feet 7 inches and stab him through the face. Then standing at 4 feet 5 inches, there's the Hero of Legend, who we see in A Link to the Past, Oracle of Ages and Seasons, and most recently in Link's Awakening. This Link has been able to routinely desecrate more larger granite statues and gravestones, being around twice his height and thus weighing closer to 2,000 pounds, and has murdered an entire island despite the islanders telling him not to wake the sleeping fish. The Hero of Light, who we see in Four Swords Adventures that comes after the Four Swords, can accomplish quite a lot with 4 versions of himself working together. Any one of these Links, much like the Hero of Legend, can lift up small boulders weighing anywhere from 80 to 100 pounds, all the way to individually lifting up an entire person and hurling them into a pen, who being the same size as Link, who is still 4 feet 5 inches, would make the average sized man weigh around 75 pounds. But working together, 2 of the Links can manage to lift up and throw a boulder, shattering it, that is roughly the size of 5 of the smaller ones, making it weigh anywhere from 400 to 500 pounds. But all of this pales in comparison to the Hero of the Minish, who, while being turned into a miniature version of himself that is literally around the size of a cherry, or 5.5 centimeters tall, and scaling down his weight, easily weighs less than 100 grams or around 0.2 pounds, can easily shove a massive dictionary-sized book across the top of not 1, but 2, I say, bookshelves. He can also pick up monstrous seeds that, when compared to some of the largest seeds on Earth, weigh up to, if not well over 1,000 grams or 10 times his body weight. But all of this is nothing when compared to adult Link's strength. In Ocarina of Time, the Hero of Time, without his sweet power-boosting gloves, has been able to pull and push around large stone blocks to complete puzzles. Looking at the texture of the blocks and the fact that they have markings of the Gerudo tribe who live in a desert, meaning that unlike being made out of granite or clay like many of the other objects we've gone over, these blocks would most likely be made out of limestone. Seeing that adult Link is measured to be 5 feet 6 inches in Ocarina of Time, and comparing Link's height minus the hat to the block's height in pixels, we find that the block is closer to 290 centimeters or 9.5 feet tall, and using the average density of limestone would make it weigh 129,194 pounds, meaning that Ocarina of Time Link is jacked. But let's get more serious for a minute and look at what has arguably been the strongest strongest, beefiest incarnation of Link to date, being the hero of Twilight, also known as the hero chosen by the gods, cause this Link didn't have to go looking for the Triforce that he was born with. Ha, suckers. This guy is able to straight on wrestle one-on-one with a giant rock people known as Gorons, can full-on catch and stop a Goron that is snowballing down Death Mountain in its tracks, who are known to crush stone boulders while rolling, trip a giant by pulling on its chains, and rip a column out of a wall and pull it around. Seeing how Twilight Link, who is still 4 feet 5 inches tall, was surrounded by lava in the Goron mines, this column was most likely made out of basalt, which has a density of 3 grams per cubic centimeter, and thus weighs 188 pounds per cubic foot. Once again, using Link's height to measure the height of the column, we find that it is about 10 feet tall, and with its width being around 3 feet, we find that the column weighs close to 5,600 pounds, so not quite as much as the 129,000 pounds the Hero of Time has pushed around, but when we look at the fact that this Link has also caught and thrown a giant Goron wearing metal armor while bouncing on a platform floating in lava, he's pretty strong. But still, none of these even compare to the stupid feat the Hero of the Skies in Skyward Sword has done. Being the first Link, this Link set the trend for the other Links in picking up 800-pound boulders and crushing living creatures with them, which is pretty much what the Hero of Hyrule and the new Hero of Hyrule do. He has the grip strength to not only hold onto a magical cloth as he free falls at terminal velocity or 150 miles per hour and whips this thing out without tearing his arm off, but he also has the strength to lift up a nearly 11-foot long scimitar to tear apart a giant robot. But no, of all the things, it's what this Link does at the Rickety Coaster Mine that defeats everything else that any other Link has done. You see, at the end of the Rickety Coaster minigame that has Link steering a minecart around as it blazes across the tracks, we see what seems like Link simply flying across the missing gaps of the track as he descends towards the finish line. But actually, Link is literally so strong that he is jumping into the air and then straight up deadlifting the minecart up towards his body so fast that he's literally throwing it and him higher upwards in the air, taking the wooden steel minecart that is 53 inches long, 35 inches wide, and 39 inches tall with steel wheels, and comparing it to larger similar sized minecarts used for carrying ore would typically weigh close to 1,500 pounds. But it doesn't stop there. Link then straight up defies physics by literally pulling the minecart that is moving really fast to a complete stop in seconds while still inside of the minecart, which is literally impossible. You cannot just push or pull an object in any direction with any amount of force without having something else to push against and thus apply a force to. So Link pushing his legs forward while inside the minecart and then pulling backwards on the same minecart should do nothing. It would be like stopping a roller coaster or a car by pulling and pushing on it while still inside. And then there's our latest incarnation of Link, being the Hero of the Wild, which other than your usual boulder pickups, has a reaction time fast enough to deflect a Guardian's explosive laser beam back at them using a pot lid, and is unharmed from having a flame-infused sword strapped to his back that never runs out, even in blizzards, that is hot enough to melt large blocks of ice just by being close to them. Which is why games are fun to play, since they allow us to experience larger-than-life stories and challenges, which pretty much sums up Link's greatest strength of all. Link is able to go through and finish whatever he's faced with every time, without ever backing away or having a straight-up panic attack, like almost anyone would. Having on an almost daily basis fought his way through horrific dungeons, has dived into a massive underwater chamber to fight a bloodthirsty monster, and has taken down a demon god, Link always pushes through, often earning himself his piece of the Triforce, unlike the others. But if none of this was very exciting, then I saved my most interesting fact for last. For all of Link's feats, his greatest strength may not be only surviving the adorable Navi in Ocarina of Time, who was voted the most annoying companion in video game history, but goes so far as to embark on a quest to look for Navi months after defeating Ganondorf, making Ocarina of Time Link a pretty strong character inside and out. That's right, his greatest strength is the power of friendship. As in the next video, we go over who the strongest Link of them all is, and next time you subscribe to your channel, I hope you think of me.